Hi everybody, my name's Val. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
Hi Val.
I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really grateful for our Firm Foundation and the work that they do in our community. When I got sober, it was 2.5 years ago, and I started at RCA in Earlsville, Maryland. And that's where I met Zach for the first time. And I remember he told me, they told me that I was going to go, after I was done, to a place called Wilmington, Delaware. I've never heard of it in my life. But Zach said that there was really great recovery here, and he did not fail me. There is really great recovery here. Anybody who knows me probably knows that I call Wilmington the land of milk and honey, because it has showed up for me. God has shown up for me here. So I grew up in Sugar Creek, Ohio. That's where I'm from. That's where all my family's from. I grew up on a farm, on a 9-acre family farm. My dad was an agricultural nutritionist, and I really had it really, really good. I didn't know it, but I had it really, really good. What I'm about to tell you about my life, I wouldn't have known unless I had recovered. Because through the process of the last 2.5 years of recovery, I've been shown the truth, because I definitely could not see it. I definitely, the story that I'm about to tell you is not what I thought had happened, but I'll get to what I had thought had happened. So my dad raised me and my brother, an older brother. I had the best of both worlds. I got to be with my dad, and I had a stepmom. And on every other weekend and every other holiday, I went to go visit my mom and my stepdad. So I had 4 loving parents. And my dad raised me in the church. I went to school at a private school, and I knew what God was. I was taught at an early age what God was, who Jesus is. I knew the Bible. I'm saying that all to say, that I thought that I was immune to addiction, because I was raised in the church and my family is, they're well off, everything is fine. But I didn't know that it was a sickness from the inside out. I thought it was a sickness on the outside. So, I learned early on, I think probably started showing signs of something was wrong with me maybe around 8 or 9 or 10, when I learned how to manipulate my mother and my stepmother's feelings towards each other, so that they would try to outdo each other, and I benefited. And I had no idea that anything was wrong with that. I don't know where it started, the thinking, my just crazy, delusional thinking that carried me through 25 years of addiction. I don't know where it started, but it started right around then, I think. And if you asked me about the time that I started picking up drugs and alcohol, I would have told you that, it was just a terrible story. It was a terrible story. I don't even like saying it, because there's a little bit of truth in it, but I twisted it and turned it and just made it so ugly. So I would have told you, that my mom left me when I was 2. And I would have said, my dad was really strict and mean, abusive, and I would have told you, I went through a trauma, early on, that screwed me up for life, and there was not any hope for you. And I really believe that. I really believe that. So about 14, 15 years old, I started drinking and using drugs. And I liked doing that. I liked doing that, and I didn't really care what anybody else thought. Because really, what anybody else who thought anything of my drinking and drugging was the reason that I was drinking and drugging. You know, and I actually really believed that. You know, come to find out that my parents were worried about me. They were scared for me. It wasn't hate and anger that they had for me. It was fear and concern. But I couldn't see that. All I saw was, you know, they're giving me a really good reason to go out and drink and not give a crap about college, not give a crap about anything. I mean, I went to a really small school that was, you know, it was considered, you know, high academic levels, you know, I didn't care. I did not care about anything but about getting high, getting drunk, partying with my friends. It was just the biggest priority. Everybody, when we went to graduate, everybody was going off to college, and I was getting in my little 1988 Honda that could hardly drive and going and smoking pot, you know, finding somebody to drink with. Like, all I could see was like what was right in front of me. Like, what does it make me feel good right now? That's the only important thing, was how am I going to feel better about myself right now? And that went on for years. And years. Actually, I got my first DUI at 21. So, and that took me to have to seek treatment. My first time having to seek treatment. I also had a child at the time. I took 4 children through my addiction with me. I mean, I drug 4 children through my addiction with me. So the first time that I went to treatment, I found out it's about God, you know. And I thought I had that nailed because I knew everything a person could know about God. You know, I could, you know, speak scripture and tell you all about a God I really didn't have any clue about. And so I just shut down. I shut down, I shut off, and I just stepped on a stage and I just did what everybody told me to do, what everybody wanted me to do. I looked really compliant, you know. Nobody questioned, you know, my sincerity really, or I went through the process of a long-term treatment center. I stayed sober for like a year. I got my kid back, and I got pregnant again. And this was the cycle of my life for the next 15 years. I would have a consequence. My kids would get taken, I'd get a DUI, or I'd run into some kind of other trouble, and I would go to treatment. And, you know, I knew that I had a problem with alcohol and drugs. But I thought that the problem was that I was forced into needing them. You know, I couldn't see that everything in my life that I had, that I looked at, it was all in order to support the idea that I needed to drink and drug. So everything was just sort of warped, and I couldn't really see the truth. And I fought with my family. I mean, every time I got to the end of my cycle, I had nothing. My family wasn't there. They couldn't. My dad told me one time, he was like, "Your family doesn't even want anything to do with you, Val." You know, and I'm like, how dare you say that? You know, but I put him through so much. Like, I look back on it now, and like, you know, I can't I'm really, really lucky that my dad still talks to me. I'm really, really lucky that my grandparents, before they died, you know, told me they loved me, and that I was always welcome in their home. That's really not what I deserved. Like, thank God that we don't get what we deserve, because I definitely wouldn't be standing here today. You know, this went on. I've probably been in 30-day treatment centers 20, 25 times. I bet I've been to like 30 detoxes. And I'm not really sure. When I came to Wilmington, like when I started this round of treatment, I didn't think that I was actually really going to stay sober. I hoped to, but I'd always hoped to. But you know, I think something was just different. I think, you know, I'd gotten to the place where in my addiction, I had everything that I could ever want. I had enough of, you know, there were times that I had enough drugs to keep me happy. You know what I mean? I had a safe place to stay. I had people in my life. You know, I had all the things that you think that you want to have in addiction, and I couldn't get high anymore. I could not. It didn't make me happy. I was miserable. We all know that place. You think it's a thousands too many and one's never enough, or however that goes. And so I knew that, like, the problem wasn't like, oh, I'm just not managing my addiction well enough. I knew the problem was, oh, if I could just get more drugs, I could just feel better. It wasn't that like I ran out of drugs, it's that they weren't making me happy anymore. And even though I didn't think that it was going to be possible for me to get sober, like, I kept waking up every single day, despite me, despite myself, and I realized, like, I'm gonna keep waking up every day. Like, I might as well give this a shot. And so, on February 2nd of 2022, I decided I took my last dose of what's it called? Medication assisted treatment, methadone, or whatever they use. I don't know if you're 7 One of them they used to taper me the 7-day taper, and I decided to just give this a real shot. There was a tough decision, and I'm really glad that I made the decision that I made, because I wouldn't be here if I hadn't. You know, I just started putting one foot in front of the other and just doing what people told me. There was like a brokenness. There was like a give up, defeat button. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I could feel it. I could feel it. It was just like, I just don't care anymore. Like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever you tell me. And so I just followed what people told me to do. They wanted me to go to the Lyman House, and I went there, and you know, in the big book it says he's fighting everyone and everything. I did that. I quit fighting. Something happened inside of me. Like, Wilmington, Delaware is not any different of a place than Sugar Creek, Ohio. Like, it is not Wilmington, Delaware that is keeping me sober. It is the God of my understanding inside of me that has helped me to see the truth about my life, and the truth about everyone else, and the truth about my addiction. So for the past 2.5 years, I've just done what people told me. Kathy Ersman has a really great prayer that I use all the time. She says, God God, thank you for everything you've given me, everything you've taken away, and everything, oh, what is it? You left behind. And please, give me the willingness to listen and follow direction. In spite of myself, it's not just that I've stayed sober, like, I talk to my kids every day. Like, all the things on the outside have changed, you know, big time, but it's more like, it's like, I have peace in my heart today. I have peace in my heart, and I actually have like real relationships with people. And I didn't think that was possible. I was really scared of that. I was really scared of relationships with people. And it turns out that that's like the remedy for my addiction, for my disease, is people, connections, relationships. So I think that's it from me tonight. I'm excited to hear the other speakers. I thank Zach for letting me speak, and thank you all for being here.